Nebraska's winter wheat is rated 63% good to excellent, with 96% of the crop emerged. In the meantime, though, a recent Bloomberg article says acres of winter varieties are the lowest in over a century. I spoke with UNL's Stephen Baenziger about that and to get an overview of the current growing conditions.
When I first came here 33 years ago, we planted about 2.5 million acres of wheat, and we're probably planting just about 1 million now. So we've lost 60% of our acreage. A lot of that's due to farm programs. They get better insurance, crop insurance on corn and soybeans. Some of it's due to technology investment. You know, the whole biotech crops is huge in soybeans, it's huge in cotton, it's huge in corn. Wheat is a crop that has no transgenic plants, and that's by design. You know, the customers are cautious.
What crops do you find that farmers have been turning to instead?
Well, historically, the two crops that have lost the most would be sorghum and wheat, and the crop that's probably gained the most is soybeans. Yeah. But I think that's why they're looking for alternative crops too.
And for the farmers that did decide to plant winter wheat this year, is there going to be any sort of change in marketing or management due to the current state of the crop?
Well, historically, when the price of wheat is low, farmers have to watch their inputs. And so you're probably going to see a little bit lower fertilizer. Now, that's not a good thing because you pay a dockage if you don't have or not a dockage. You lose money if your protein isn't up. So for a small investment in protein, you may make more money than the nitrogen fertilizer costs you. And they also tend to use less fungicides. And the difficulty that you have explaining to a grower when there's an epidemic, paying for a fungicide means you will lose less money than when you don't use the fungicide. And we saw that 2 years ago, it was 3 years ago, when we had a massive scab epidemic. And growers that sprayed got a 40 bushel yield, and those that didn't spray basically destroyed the crop and they got nothing.
Okay, let's get a recap of how planting has gone this season and what the upcoming growing season may look like.
Well, the planting in most areas went pretty well. There's some rain delays. We've had a wet summer, which is great because it means our soil profile should be full for moisture. It's beginning to see a little bit of drought coming in. If you look at the drought monitor maps, you can see that down in the southwest, it's just beginning to creep in from Colorado's had some more severe drought. West Kansas, northwest Kansas has, and it's just beginning to slip into our southwest corner. As for the season, it's too early to tell. But, right now I would say most things look promising.
And as far as that, the weather, we've had that big cold snap into late October, early November. Does that change anything this early on? Well,
hopefully not. Okay. The key thing to me for wheat to survive is to have a really good crown establishment. And the difficulty we have is a lot of the wheat went in late, especially on the east because we had a lot of rain delays on the east. If you're growing soybeans and you cut your soybeans, which are coming off late, and then you're going to plant wheat, you're really going to be late. So there will be some risk there. But a couple of things is that if your wheat doesn't emerge, it's probably as safe as it's ever going to be as long as it's seed treated. If it has emerged and has grown a little bit, then you've probably renewed the reserves, so the crop's probably okay. The one where it's vulnerable is where it's used its reserves and then gets frozen hard. But the soil temperature is always much warmer than the air temperature, so normally the seed and the shoot that's still in the ground is in pretty good shape.
What are some of the diseases that producers were impacted by last year, and do you think those may be an issue this year?
Well, the diseases change every year, and it's hard to predict. But last year there was a fair amount of leaf rust. There was some fusarium head blight or scab, maybe a little bit of stripe rust. But those diseases can be present every year whenever the conditions are right. And so last year we had ample rains. We had a little bit warmer temperatures. If it was cool, we probably would have had stripe rust. It was a little warmer, so we had leaf rust.
For all the wheat producers watching, any final recommendations for us?
I think, just watch your wheat, just monitor it. Don't give up on it too soon. Every real wheat grower knows that wheat's got 9 lives. We'll be surprised to see how it comes out, but I think we'll probably have a pretty good crop. I think most of the growers who've gotten their wheat in on time From what I've seen out west, the wheat crop looks beautiful. Okay, so we still have severe winter could come through. We still have droughts that can happen, things like that. But right now, it's setting up to be a very good wheat crop.